The paramurder cast may contain graphic material, not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
On Easter Sunday, March 30th, 1975, James Urban Ruppert committed one of the most notorious mass murders in Ohio history. Ruppert, then 40 years old, killed 11 family members at his mother's house in Hamilton, Ohio, in what would be later known as the Easter Sunday Massacre.
Prepare to journey into the macabre, where reality blurs with nightmares. This is the Paramurder Cast, where the unseen becomes the unforgettable. Now to your hosts, let the horrors begin.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode, James Ruppert, the Easter Massacre. I'm your host, Daniel.
I'm David.
I'm CJ.
I'm Roberto.
I was going to go, and Berto.
And Berto.
We'll save that one for next time.
Have you guys heard about James Ruppert?
I have.
No.
My freshman year of high school, one of the teachers there is actually, I think, related to that family, and he told us a story, I believe, around Easter time.
Yeah. See, the weird part I didn't know about until I was actually talking to my mother the other day is that my grandpa actually went to school with this guy.
Really?
Yeah. My grandpa, Robert, he went to school with James Ruppert in Hamilton. This dude's messed up, man. And the cool part is I picked James Ruppert this month because this would have been his latest parole month.
Really?
April 2025.
I think you should rephrase that as a cool factoid instead of something just cool.
It's cool that the dates line up. He's dead. Who gives a shit?
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to roast this nerd.
Yeah, you can roast him, dude.
I mean, look at him.
He ain't going to get out and come after you, David. Don't worry.
Doesn't he look kind of like Berto, though? Like, he looks like he could be a cousin or something of Berto.
Damn.
Not
Why you gotta do Berto
really.
Like that?
I mean, let's see here.
I thought he was backing up. He's like, I'm fucking out, boys.
Yeah, Berto doesn't have horn-rimmed glasses. So.
Yeah.
I should get some.
Damn, horn-rimmed glasses made me think of Heroes for some reason.
That's what he's fucking wearing.
Yeah, I know, but you just saying horn-rimmed glasses made me think of fucking Heroes.
He's wearing orange in the picture we're looking at, and I am actually wearing orange right now.
Mm.
Conspiracies!
Bum, bum, bum.
Well, from what I gather, it'd probably suck being related to this guy. Not somebody you'd want to invite over for a holiday meal.
Well,
no, absolutely not.
They tried one time, and it didn't. I'm sorry to the family that this happened to. I didn't mean a joke like that.
I know it's like a really popular house. Like, people do drive up on the house and stuff in Hamilton all the time. So I know I've seen like news postings and stuff where they talk about people having trouble living there because of the fact that people come up to see the house. Because it's still there. It's still the original house.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Ruppert, man. You guys ready to dive into his early life and his background, man?
Yep.
All right, let's hit it, dude.
James Urban Ruppert was born on March 29th, 1935, in Hamilton, Ohio, a working-class city located in the southwestern part of the state. He was the second child of Leonard and Charity Ruppert, with an older brother named Leonard Jr. and a younger sister named Martha. The Ruppert family resided in a modest two-story home on Minor Avenue, where James would later commit his infamous crime. From a young age, James was subjected to the strict discipline and physical abuse of his father, Leonard, who was known for his hot temper and heavy drinking. Leonard favored his older son, Leonard Jr., and often belittled and mistreated James, leaving him feeling resentful and inferior. This treatment would have a lasting impact on James's self-esteem and his relationships with his family members. His mother, Charity, was a devout Catholic who instilled strong religious values in her children. She attended Mass daily and expected her children to follow the teachings of the church. Charity was known to be a strict and controlling mother, often meddling in her children's lives and making decisions on their behalf. Throughout his childhood and adolescence, Ruppert struggled academically and socially. He had difficulty making friends and was often teased by his peers for his poor hygiene and odd behavior. Teachers described him as quiet and withdrawn, rarely participating in class discussions or extracurricular activities. He attended St. Joseph's Catholic School in Hamilton, where he struggled to keep up with his classmates and was often disciplined for his lack of focus and poor performance. After graduating from high school in 1953, Ruppert briefly attended a local college, but dropped out after just one semester. He then enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, hoping to find some sense of purpose and belonging. However, his inability to adapt to military life led to an early discharge after only a few months of service. Upon returning to Hamilton, Ruppert began working a series of odd jobs, including stints at a gas station and a local factory. During this time, he started drinking heavily and became increasingly withdrawn from society. He rarely socialized with others and spent most of his time alone in his bedroom at his mother's house, where he lived well into adulthood. As the years passed, Ruppert's mental health continued to deteriorate. He became obsessed with the idea that his family, particularly his mother and brother, were conspiring against him. He believed that they were trying to control his life and sabotage his attempts to gain independence. This paranoia only intensified as he grew older, culminating in the tragic event. Despite the many challenges and difficulties Ruppert faced throughout his early life, there is little information available about any specific positive experiences or relationships he may have had. The majority of the details known about his upbringing focus on the negative aspects that contributed to his troubled mental state.
So there's not a lot of information known. I pulled as much info as I could find on Ruppert, but there's not a lot, man. I mean, I don't think this guy was really an achiever, and that's the hard part on why there's not a lot of details about him. I don't think he did very much. I think he was about as plain as you can come, and then the problem was...
And withdrawn, too.
Yeah, plain, withdrawn, no skills, no social skills, nothing. I mean, he just really had nothing. So I remember talking to my mom about it, and she said Robert said he was just the quiet kid in class, stinky quiet kid in class. He just didn't speak,
So
didn't
am I
talk.
doing anybody sitting at this table?
Me.
You aren't stinky. Were you the quiet kid in class, though?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
See, we're like polar opposites sitting on the end of the table, too. Because I was the kid in class that the teacher would talk to me back there like, what did you say? Yelling at friends and shit.
Because here's the thing. I was taught to let someone finish speaking before you got in. But
What's that like?
I learned later
I've never
on
done
in
that.
life
No one ever
That-
taught me
when you
such
wait
skills.
for somebody else to finish speaking, if you don't get in, they'll start talking about something else.
Yeah.
And then what you were going to say becomes irrelevant. So then you just don't say it. Yes, it's disrespectful to interrupt somebody while they're speaking. However, it's almost a necessity. At some point, you have to interject so people know you've got something to add.
Yeah. Or you use like the leeway lead-ins, like, or and then just hope they notice that you
If
Or you just talk really loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite strategy is just keep elevating the sound of your voice.
Just like,
until
hey guys,
everybody
can you
shuts up.
hear me yet?
Well, I can kind of hear you, but
So, but that's weird that, like I said, he's one of the first people that I've done a true crime report on where there's just not a lot about him, because usually it's really the polar opposite, right? Anytime I've looked up a killer, they're usually very charismatic and they try to blend in, you know, and even the ones that don't try to blend in, they usually have like severe psychosis to where they're
this
looked
is
at
Ohio.
multiple times.
This is Hamilton.
I'm also saying it's a little different. This isn't a serial killer.
No.
This is just a one-off mass killing.
Yeah, but I try to mean, I guess what I mean is just like any spree killer. Usually there's like weird precursors. There's a lot of information out there on it. Like he just really did bottle it up. He just bottled it up, didn't tell anybody, and
that's the adult
eventually
thing
popped.
to do.
That's what I do.
That's what the
I
man
bottle
thing
everything
is.
up and don't talk about it.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Don't talk about
I've heard
your
it's
problems.
super healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, super healthy, man. That's how we're taught.
Don't express your feelings. Ew.
Yeah,
Cringe.
but I think it's a good topic because we're going to release this on Easter, and he's our Easter episode, and it did happen here where we're from on Easter.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised I've never heard about it.
Oh yeah,
I lived in Hamilton and I've heard about it.
it's
so.
a bad massacre too,
Yeah.
man. He killed 11 people. So and it's just out of the blue. You know what I mean? He
It
just-
shocked everybody, I think.
Yeah, especially for how precise it was too. Like we've all seen like the spree killing's like so popular nowadays in our era, unfortunately, with like store shootings and all that stuff. And you know how you usually see you have like disorganized spree killers and then organized spree killers. James Ruppert was very much a organized spree killer. The entire massacre takes place in minutes, and it's very precise. It's very precise.
Was Columbine a disorganized spree?
And Columbine was like a planned organized You know what I mean?
What about
then it turned into disorganized because their bombs didn't go off. Nothing went to their plan.
Okay, so more like the Joker guy from the Aurora theater.
His was very organized.
It was?
Yeah, like it went to plan. You know what I mean? He was able to exit the back of the theater, go out and get his stuff from the car, come back in. He was able to actually make it work. And that's the hard problem.
Anyway,
let's get into the weeks leading up to the murders.
In the weeks leading up to the Easter Sunday massacre, several factors contributed to James Ruppert's decision to commit the mass murder. He was facing financial difficulties after losing his job at a local factory and was living off his mother's social security checks. Ruppert's relationship with his mother, Charity, and his brother, Leonard Jr., had become increasingly strained as he felt that they were controlling his life and trying to undermine his attempts at independence. He also believed that his mother favored Leonard Jr. and his family over him. Ruppert's paranoia and delusions intensified in the weeks before the killings. He became convinced that his family was conspiring against him and that they were plotting to have him committed to a menstrual institution.
Menstrual institution? Only once a month.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Rupert's paranoia and delusions intensified in the weeks before the killings. He became convinced that his family was conspiring against him and they were plotting to have him committed to a mental institution. He also believed that the government was monitoring his actions and that his phone was tapped. Ruppert had also been practicing with his guns and had inquired about purchasing a silencer indicating his access to firearms. On March 30th, 1975, Ruppert's mother Charity hosted an Easter Sunday gathering at her home in Hamilton. Ruppert's brother, Leonard Jr., along with his wife Alma and their 8 children, were in attendance. The presence of his entire family in one location may have presented Ruppert with an opportunity to act on his delusions and anger. These factors, combined with Ruppert's long-standing mental health issues and history of abuse, likely contributed to his decision to commit the mass murder on that fateful Easter Sunday.
Real quick, what abuse did he have? Because I didn't hear that in our first part talking about kind of abuse.
His father was a drinker and abusive.
Oh, that's all it said.
Yeah, yeah. There's like I said, there's not a ton of family history on Ruppert. You know, it's kind of hard.
Early life.
It's kind of hard to get a lot of family history when you kill the entire family that knew about you. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's true.
That'll kind of delete everything that you don't want to share. What we know of is from distant relatives that also knew him, and the very, very, very little that he talked to a psychiatrist about.
Do you think he had any friends? If he did, he probably pushed them away.
Probably not.
Yeah. Especially if he was so isolated and definitely had no one to talk to. And I bet if he did have anybody to talk to, it would probably have not happened.
So it seems like most of it was premeditated. Because he was going out and shooting, and he did try to purchase silencers for his gun.
Are those illegal now?
Yeah.
Yeah, silencers are illegal now.
Silencers actually don't even exist. They're called suppressors.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
but
my apologies.
I know, silencers, I'm not that guy. That obviously does show premeditation. Like, if you're at the fucking Lowe's buying a shovel and gloves and bleach.
Yeah, it was premeditated, for sure. His was actually very organized. Like, he commits this quickly. It's very swift.
It's all brought on by his paranoia and delusions, though. He thinks everyone's plotting against him to put him in a mental asylum.
His phone's tapped.
I mean, it could have all been avoided if he just, spoke about it with somebody.
Everything's bubbling over, man.
The lizard overlords made me do it.
Well, see, we live in an era now where it's okay to go talk to somebody. Yeah. But back then, it very much wasn't okay to go talk to somebody.
He probably doesn't think it's okay. I mean, judging from his upbringing, and the way his father treated him, it's kind of hard to talk to people if you'd want to avoid people because you think they're just going to be drunk and hit you.
Well, there's a big stigma back then of if you went and seen a shrink, people would absolutely give you shit for it.
Oh, yeah.
Where now
they would look down on you.
Yeah, nowadays it's very much acceptable. We all understand that if we're having issues, we can just go talk to a shrink.
Yeah.
But let's get into these murders, man. I mean, like I said, it's pretty graphic when you think about it, but all the information I could find doesn't lead it to be as graphic as some of the other cases we've talked about. Because again, it was just swift shootings. So, let's hop into the murders and talk about the 11 people that James Ruppert killed.
On the morning of March 30th, 1975, Ruppert's mother Charity hosted an Easter Sunday gathering at her home in Hamilton. In attendance were Ruppert's brother, Leonard Jr., along with his wife Alma and their 8 children, ranging in age from 4 to 17. As the family gathered in the living room, Ruppert retrieved a .357 Magnum handgun, a .22 caliber rifle, and a .30 caliber carbine from his bedroom. He then proceeded to shoot each family member multiple times, starting with his brother and sister-in-law, before turning the guns on his nieces and nephews. Ruppert began his killing spree by shooting his brother, who was sitting in a chair in the living room. He aimed the .357 at Leonard Jr.'s chest and fired 4 shots in rapid succession, causing his brother to slump lifelessly in the chair. Next, he turned the gun on his sister-in-law Alma, who was standing nearby, likely frozen in shock after witnessing her husband's murder. Ruppert fired 3 shots at Alma, striking her in the chest and abdomen, and she collapsed to the floor. Ruppert then proceeded to shoot his nieces and nephews, who were gathered in the living room, possibly huddled together in fear. He first aimed at 17-year-old James, his oldest nephew, and fired 3 shots, hitting him in the chest and head. He then turned the gun on 16-year-old Michael, shooting him 3 times in the chest and abdomen as he tried to flee the living room. Ruppert continued his rampage by shooting 15-year-old Thomas 4 times, striking him in the chest, abdomen, and head as he attempted to shield his younger siblings. He then turned the gun on 13-year-old Carol, who was likely screaming in terror, and fired 3 shots, hitting her in the chest and neck. Next, he moved on to 12-year-old Anne, who may have been hiding behind a piece of furniture, and shot her 3 times in the back and head. He then aimed at 11-year-old David, who was possibly cowering in a corner, and fired 3 more shots, striking him in the chest and face. Ruppert then shot 9-year-old Teresa twice, hitting her in the chest and head as she tried to run away. And finally, he turned the gun on 8-year-old John, the youngest of his nieces and nephews, and fired 2 shots, striking him in the chest and abdomen. After killing his brother, sister-in-law, and all 8 of their children, Ruppert went to the kitchen where he found his mother Charity, who was attempting to call the police. He shot her once in the head with the .357. Throughout the massacre, Ruppert moved methodically through the living room, shooting each family member multiple times at close range, ensuring their deaths. The scene was one of unimaginable horror, with the bodies of his family scattered around the room, and the walls and furniture splattered with blood. After the murders, Ruppert placed the .357 Magnum on the kitchen counter and called the police to report the killings. When officers arrived at the scene, they found Ruppert sitting calmly on the front porch, smoking a cigarette. The police investigation revealed that Ruppert had used 3 different firearms during the massacre: a .357 Magnum handgun, a .22 caliber rifle, and a .30 caliber carbine. By reports, it's unclear when James used the .22 and .30 caliber, but they were in his possession during the massacre. In total, he fired 35 rounds, with most of the victims being shot multiple times at close range. According to the police report, the only sign of struggle in all of the carnage was one lone overturned wastebasket. There was also so much blood on the first floor, it was dripping through the floorboards into the basement. The sheer brutality of the crime shocked the nation, and the case remains one of the most notorious mass murders in Ohio history.
I thought that was a really weird and brutal factoid, was the fact that it is reported by all the police that responded to the scene that there was so much blood. You know, they had those old school wood floors that it was actually just seeping through and dripping down into the basement.
Yeah, you gotta think 11 people, that's a
lot of blood.
It's a lot of blood.
If you look at the crime scene photos, there's none of the bodies, thankfully, but you can see how small the actual living room was. So it wasn't a very
I'm familiar with
space.
the houses in that area. And
yeah,
they're
real.
small.
They're like built tall, but built skinny.
Not many people could fit into one room, but everyone that was on the first floor, that would have been a lot of.
Yeah, it would have been very close quarters.
A lot of people.
So I mean, the pictures, the living room is literally like a small sofa, a larger sofa, and then like one chair is in the room. And then, of course, there was like, some other decorations and stuff in the wastebasket. But other than that, it was a very close quarter area. So
that's kind of crazy. I mean, he shot all 8 children, like, no hesitation.
Nope.
He did it so methodically, too. It's like he took out the oldest and like the biggest threats because, so he had to think about that.
Yeah. A lot of people do speculate that's what he did.
Because his brother would have probably been the most threat in the room, the biggest person to stand up to him.
Possibly,
He just took them out first and then on to the kids who either just scattered or cowered.
Because they didn't know what was going on.
Well, I mean, it could have also, that's just how the police report lined up. saying how
True.
he did it.
True.
Oh, that's
I mean,
actually true. Yeah.
He could have missed
Yeah.
with like a stray and caught a different one and then went back and shot him again to make sure they were dead or something like
Yeah.
that.
All I know is it was quick. It was very methodically done. I mean, he did it very fast. I think there was only 2 neighbors that heard anything, and it wasn't even enough to where they made police reports. They just basically, the police were like, "Did you hear anything?" Like, yeah, I might have heard like a pop, but not enough to even actually really put in this story. There wasn't a lot of witnesses, a lot of secondhand accounts to anything. It was just very fastly done, and then he called the cops on himself, went outside and smoked a cigarette.
I mean, they probably heard the 357.
Yeah.
I mean, if you fire a 22 indoors, there's a lot you might not end up hearing.
Yeah, and it's also weird. I tried to find the information that I could, but I wasn't able to locate it. Everything that's in the police reports talks about the 357, but they don't talk about the 22 and they don't talk about the 30. So I don't know who was killed by what. They specifically only talk about the handgun, which a 357 in the picture, it's a 6-shooter. And he shot way too many times unless he reloaded and these kids didn't run.
Unless he's like a speed loader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I saw that revolver in there, dude.
But I assume some of the kids were killed by the 22 and the 30 caliber carbine. But it just doesn't cover it. But they were on the table.
It's going to be edited out, but in there it said the bodies of his loved ones, and I just had to change that to family because I don't think you do that to somebody you love.
Yeah,
you can kill 1, maybe 2 people, crime of passion, because you love them. You don't kill 11 people because you love them.
No, yeah. And the other thing that really drives me nuts is the fact that I hate murderers who have resentment towards parents, but then proceed to kill everybody around the parents. If your problem was with his mother, Charity, just shoot Charity. And if your problem extends to your brother, Leonard, just shoot Charity and Leonard and leave.
I think it's
already horrible enough, but why massacre every child?
It's because of the paranoia. He thought everybody was conspiring.
I also think it just has to come down to just being evil. You know what I mean? He just kill those people. It's
the demons made me do it.
That's why Edmund Kemper's always been such a great study when it comes to criminality. It's because once he killed his mom, once he peaked and killed his mother, he went to drive and would have got away and got to Colorado and started the killings again, which is what he planned to do. But literally along the drive, he just went, I don't think I have anything left to kill over. You know what I mean? I killed the woman that gave me all of the aggression that I have. I think it's kind of done. And then he just stopped and called the police on himself.
Yeah.
So maybe if he would have just shot Charity to begin with, he would have stood there and been like, oh, wait a minute. I don't think I need to kill the rest of the family.
Well, Charity and his brother.
Yeah, Charity and the brother. Then he probably would have just not killed everybody else. He could have just walked outside and smoked. What are the remaining women and children going to do? Rush you while you have a handgun? No, they're going to fucking flee, But that always just drives me nuts. You see, it's so common that they have resentment towards parents and they kill everybody in the room. And then usually they kill the parent last. It makes no sense. Just kill the parent. Which brings us back to like episodes 1 when we initially talked about it.
Just don't fucking kill and cut them out of your life and go do something else.
Yeah. But like I said, it brings us back to that original talk when we very first started this podcast, when we talked about our very first question. Are our killers born or are they made? In his instance, I think he was made as well.
I think this is a guy that snapped.
Well, abusive dads can play a large role in it. That can fuck you up for the rest of your life. And then she seems like a helicopter mom, making decisions for all of them. So I'm not trying to let him off the hook. I'm just saying that, like, I do think if you're born with already a predisposition towards mental health issues and you have parents that just intensify that, I think that's just a bad situation.
James, wake up. You're gonna be late for mass.
Like, could you guys imagine if your fucking parents were just making all your decisions for you?
I would feel not so great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I can understand parents making decisions for their children, but when they enter adulthood, maybe back off.
Yeah, maybe back the fuck up. I don't know. It's just a good talking point. It's just seeing killers and understanding, like, do you relate to them more as being born that way or made? And I definitely think he falls towards the being made.
It seems like the killers who are made, they're a lot of times when they get captured and they're done, they're just like sitting there smoking a cigarette, turn themselves in.
Yeah, it's very much like they just commit the crime and then they're okay with being done.
Other people who are evil are actively avoiding it till they fucking get caught.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was born that way. That's why I say, like, when we very first talked about it, I was like, I think you can make a case for either or on every killer, because people try to argue that it's indefinitely one or the other, that it's either they're made or either they're born that way.
Sometimes both.
And I think it's sometimes both, because I think Ted Bundy, he's like a prime example of he was born that way, you know, because he was captured and then gets out of fucking prison and escapes, and he just goes on a fucking rampage. You know what I mean? Like, if he would have not been caught, he would have just kept going on more rampages. He couldn't control it. He was just born that way.
Anyway.
Now, let's wrap this up.
Trial after trial.
The original trial was held in Hamilton, Ohio in June 1975. The 3-judge panel found Ruppert guilty on 11 counts of murder and sentenced him to life in prison on July 3rd. A mistrial was declared because the 3-judge panel did not know if the ruling had to be unanimous or majority rule. It was decided that the retrial would be held in Findlay, Ohio, 125 miles north, because it was believed he could not receive a fair trial in the city of Hamilton. The second trial began on July 23, 1975, and prosecutors revealed evidence involving the witnesses who had seen Ruppert engaging in target practice, asking about silencers for his gun collection, and admitting that his mother's expectations were a problem that he needed to solve. In July 1975, Ruppert received 11 consecutive life sentences. On appeal, a new trial was granted in 1982. Defense attorney Hugh D. Hallbrook, convinced his client was insane, personally funded the hiring of expert psychiatrists and psychologists from all over the country. On July 23, 1982, another 3-judge panel found Ruppert guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder, his mother and brother, but found him not guilty on the other 9 counts of murder by reason of insanity. He received 1 life sentence for each count to be served consecutively. Capital punishment had been suspended in the United States from 1972 to 1976 as a result of the Supreme Court's decision in Furman v. Georgia. The mass murders on Minor Avenue had occurred in 1975, and Ruppert could not receive the death penalty for his crimes. On July 30th, 1982, at the age of 48, Ruppert was incarcerated with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction at the Franklin Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. His assigned inmate number was A169321. In June 1995, at the age of 61, Ruppert was granted a hearing before the state parole board, but his release was denied. He received subsequent parole board hearings in 2005 at age 71 and April 2015 at age 81, all of which he was denied release. In 2015, the Allen Oakwood Correctional Institution Parole Board released a statement. The board has determined that the inmate is not suitable for release at this time. The inmate has not completed any recommended programming and does not appear to be willing to do so. The inmate's records note negative institutional conduct. The inmate took the lives of multiple victims. There have been strong community objections to his release, and the release of this inmate would not be in the best interest of justice. Ruppert's next parole consideration hearing was set to occur in April 2025, the very month of this recording, when he would have been 91 years old. However, on June 4th, 2022, at the age of 88, Ruppert died from natural causes while incarcerated at the Franklin Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio, a unit of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction.
And then I posted that picture there for all of us to see. That was old boy before he died right there, James Ruppert.
Do you think he still looks like he can kill people?
No.
Does he look like a guy to you
old
that's
and fragile, man? Old and fragile. But it does blow my mind, though, that they did end up...
Look in his eyes. Looks like he's seen some shit on the inside.
Looks like he's staring right at me.
But they ended up taking away 9 counts of first-degree murder. They changed them to guilty by...
But not
insanity.
guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah. Took away 9 of them. So, we ended up being charged, really, with first-degree murder of his mom, Charity, and his brother, Leonard Jr. Other than that, all the kids and everything were...
Insanity.
Yep, insanity, please.
Well, he still served the rest of his life in prison.
Until people can live upwards of 500 years due to medical advances, I really don't get the whole, multiple life sentences.
I think it's illegal in some states. They're not allowed to come in and give you 450 years. They have to use, like, we'll give you a life sentence per person. But
25 to life.
Like, what does it matter? Like, they're dead after serving 100 years, even if that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's where we talked about this before on the podcast. Does it make sense to come in and give them 450 years? And that's where me and David did agree upon, because we differ on he likes killing, but I want him to be thrown in a deep dark hole. But that's one thing me and him agreed upon is I think they should come in and delete you with years. I think they should come in and just be like, you're sentenced to 720 years in prison. Have a good day. My
grandparents were murdered in New Miami.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They've been sentenced to death, but they've been on like they haven't had it done. One of them died in prison.
Yeah.
It's like there's always been a stay or something of execution.
Yeah, stay of execution.
Every time, because they've called me looking for my dad and wanting us to go and watch the execution.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is like, while I want them thrown in a deep, dark hole, if you are going to put them on death row, fucking kill them. You know what I mean? Don't leave them there for 45 years. And that's what we do in the United States. We sentence them to death, but then most of the family members die before they even get to see the fucking death.
Well, that's because all of our prison system is all privatized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a money-making machine.
Fucking kill them. You know what I mean? Line them up and start just getting rid of them.
And while it might be justice to put somebody in a deep, dark hole, I mean, financially, they're a burden.
Yeah.
That's why you don't feed them. We're wasting all this money feeding them. Just throw them in the hole.
I might have a little opinion change. You know, I don't think eyewitness testimony is always
accurate,
reliable.
Yeah. That's been proven that eyewitness.
If you're on video, and let's see the thing with deep fakes now.
I mean, the guy was out there buying silencers saying he's got to fix a problem he's got with his mother. Like, what else he getting guns for?
When it's proved without a reason of a doubt.
If there's video of you killing somebody, you know, that has been forensically analyzed to say that there's video has not been tampered with, well, maybe you die too.
Like I said, I've always stood on the fact that they should just be thrown in a hole. And I think that's another fix to taxpayer dollar. Don't give them all the amenities, because half the problem with the prison system is they have amenities. You know what I mean? They get certain amounts of food. They get certain amounts of amenities.
It's easier in there than it is in the streets.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't want it to be easier. I want them to know if they kill somebody, we're going to go stick you in a cell and shut the door, and then fuck all the amenities. You can live on bread. You don't need fucking turkey you know what I mean? They get like turkey and shit. You know? They'll fucking celebrate holidays. Christmas will come up and they'll make them a fucking Christmas meal. No, fuck that shit, dude. Put them in a fucking cell, shut the door, 24-hour-a-day lockup. We'll come in and hose you off once a fucking week so you don't die from fucking bacteria buildup and shit on your fucking skin. But other than that, dude, when it comes to you eating, we're just going to push you in a loaf of bread for the day. You know what I mean? Cost us next to nothing to feed you. Boom, there's your bread. Have a good day. What do you drink? You drink water, motherfucker. We're keeping you alive. We're not giving you any pleasure out of being locked up. Instead, they're in there with 3 square meals a day. They come out and play fucking spades or cards.
They got computers. They got TVs.
That's what I'm saying. Some of the prisons, dude, they're allowed to fucking earn TVs and tablets and computers, like you said. They can come out and fucking play cards. You know what I mean?
Half of them even got phones and they're doing TikToks.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's all over fucking social media.
Jail talk.
Yeah, jail talk.
You got people that are supposed to be, having a punishment, but they're in there having a grand old fucking time with all their buddies. And it's like, what the fuck?
I've talked about it before with you guys, but my dad was institutionalized. When he came out, he would have rather been back in, because it was easier for him to do things in prison than it was out here. It was easier for him to stay on a schedule, wake up, know that he didn't have to smoke a cigarette, so it kept him clean. He could go out and fucking jog. He had 3 square meals a day. He could do his art and sell it to people and keep his commissary stacked up. And he had a TV in his fucking room and could just wake up and enjoy his morning coffee and watch fucking TV. How the fuck do you get to live that easy when we have to sit out here and work a job every fucking day?
I mean, when it comes
makes
to
no sense.
When it comes to the murderers, I agree with you on that. What if it's like, someone's down on their luck, they stole some shit, and now they got to go to jail for 3 years?
No, I absolutely agree. If somebody's in for something that can be rehabilitated, if they're a fucking thief, absolutely they can live in the prison where we're trying to rehabilitate them, give them a better education, give them options. But we talked about that before, too, when me and CJ were talking about it on the podcast. We're not even rehabilitating them anymore. You know what I mean? They get stuck in there, and they're stuck in with the killers and stuff.
They do whatever they want.
Yeah, and they're ignored. It's like, rehabilitate the people we know we can rehabilitate, and the people that are in there for murder, just fucking get rid of them. Put them in a hole.
How do you rehabilitate somebody?
How do you rehabilitate somebody?
Yeah.
Options. That's proven in every other country but the United States. You know, other countries have higher rate of actually releasing prisoners that come back out of prison and they are successful. And that's because they're taught trade skills. That's because they're given education. That's because they're actually taken care of and they're actually taught right from wrong. You know what I mean? Some people are like, it's weird to think of because we have a conscience and we were raised correctly, but some people are just lost causes being raised. You know what I mean? They have nobody there with them. They don't learn trade skills. They don't learn how to take care of themselves. And they come up stealing and, being a car thief or whatever makes them money. Those are the people I want to rehabilitate. But the fucking murderers, man, put them in a hole. Get rid of them. We don't need to deal with them anymore. You know what I mean? Make a maximum security prison that is just 24-hour lockup. And then, like I said, just have one cook in there. Just baking bread.
Baking bread
just
all
baking
day.
bread, dude.
Minimum wage, baking
Hire
bread.
the person from Roadhouse. Just
That's what I'm
making
saying.
bread.
That's all we need, dude. One person in there baking bread, dude.
Yeah, you took all the choices from these people. Now we're going to take all your choices
Exactly. They don't get nothing. No, they don't get no fucking Easter dinner and Christmas dinner and none of that shit, dude. You ain't in there to celebrate, bro. You get rye bread and it's fucking stale, dude. I want it to be stale. I want you to have to dip it in that fucking water we put in there with you just to have it fucking edible.
Like hardtack.
Yeah, some just straight hardtack, dude. You gotta fucking take it out, drip some water on it, dude, for it to be edible.
What is it? The MRE bread? That's just super
hardtack
hard.
is from that's like Civil War era and stuff. They'd get hardtack.
Oh, it's way before that.
Yeah, but it was
With sailors coming across the ocean.
Yeah.
You wanted to try and pull all the moisture out of the bread so that it would stay as long as possible.
Yeah, long as possible.
It's kind of what they
did for really hard bread.
I just remember it from it being popularized during like the Civil War era. Those guys would be giving that stuff and it's like a brick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They'd have to take it and
I've
put it in water on a pot.
It's been a brick for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I've eaten some MREs where they had some bread and it was literally, they got a little packet in there to absorb all the moisture. Again, to, try to make it last longer, but it's so compressed and hard.
Yeah, it's like a brick.
It's just like a brick, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want to give those prisoners. Just bake the bread, dude.
Maybe one raisin.
Give them some hardtack, dude.
Saturday, have a raisin.
No, I don't even want to give them a fucking raisin, dude. I want the guard to stand outside of their cell when he hands them bread, eating a fucking McDonald's burger. Be like, here's your bread.
Here's your bread, and you can have a little bit of water with some salt in it.
You should get to face repercussions of what you did the entire time. And that's why they're not. And that's why people like David stand the way they stand, of just killing them. Because you've taken away everything from somebody else. You should have everything taken away from you.
Yeah, that's like my whole
eye
thing.
for an eye.
Yeah, because like sometimes they say, well, you don't want to kill him. Because like I remember the Nicholas Cruz kid that shot up the high school. Everybody was like, oh, well, he's suicidal. He wants to kill himself. So don't give him the death penalty. Make him stay in prison. And it's like, well, fucking 5-6 years from now, he might get over all that and be happy as a pig in shit, reading books in the library at the prison, fucking, high-fiving people down the hallway and shit and playing basketball.
At that point, he's in prison. No one might want to mess with him because
walking
he's a
through the
mass
prison
murderer,
halls.
you know what I mean? So now he's got it easy.
Walking through the prison like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man.
He's the celebrity he always wanted to be.
Basically, yeah, you're right. I mean, that could happen for sure.
That's the thing. If we are going to keep them, like people, I understand that train of thought because that's the thing with me is a lot of the killers do want to be put to death. Edmund Kemper, he went in and was like, please just kill me. But then look at the rest of his life. He had media in there with him. He was able to, and because he had media in there so often, the FBI working with him brought him in fucking pizza and soda and everything else. You know what I mean? Like, why is he getting that treatment?
Because he was special.
Yeah, he's not special. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I understand if they had to pull information, they had to make deals.
Yeah. Now,
that's one thing.
His is different because they were still coming up with
the people he killed don't get any pizza.
Yeah, they were coming up with criminal profiling. That's the only difference with Edmund Kemper.
I can see the reason why, though. Like
you've seen the movie Law Abiding Citizen, right?
I mean, they're giving him pizza so he'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you seen the Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Basically, his wife and daughter were killed, and then he gets himself arrested, and then he's all like, "Oh, did I give you the confession?" It's like, I said this, and this. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you full confession for if you do this. And then he's all like, "Well, I'll give you information on this, but you have to do this for me."
Yeah.
And so they had to give him like this whole catered meal and everything like that.
Yeah, it's. I
understand one thing if you're trying to pull information that is necessary.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just maybe just give him hard tack.
Like I said, Edmund's different because the FBI was still coming up with criminal profiling. He's literally one of the people that helped the birth of criminal profiling for stuff like serial killers. But the rest of them, man, they should just be in prison in a box. And that's it. But they're not. All right, well, let's go around and close this up. Let's give our final thoughts on this fucking piece of shit. This monster.
Oh, I think he lived for way too long in prison there.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe he's pretty old.
I agree.
Couldn't have the death penalty, though. It was abolished at the time.
I don't know how you can't just like resentence somebody to that, but okay.
Supreme Court?
Yeah, can't be tried again for something you're found guilty of.
Or you just can't be retried for the same case, even if you're not guilty of it.
All right, David, final thoughts on this monster?
I think he was just crazy. Obviously, he didn't clean up his act in jail, from what they say about him. I imagine they just threw him in a cage and he didn't have alcohol that he needed. Or he was an alcoholic too, right? Or was it just his father?
I would imagine he did.
I know there was reports of him drinking, but I don't know if he was necessarily an alcoholic or not.
Well, I think he was certainly crazy at the very least.
Yeah, you would assume depression and all that stuff. He would definitely be crutching with something like alcohol.
And it's crazy. It sucks he lived so long, honestly. I mean, when you massacre an entire family, including children.
He was allowed to die of natural causes. Mind-blowing factoid of the world, man. Berto, final thoughts on James Ruppert?
Glad he's dead. I mean, he's a monster. I think he was crazy. I do agree with that one. I think he had, especially with the delusions. I honestly feel like if back then they had people to talk to, this may have not happened.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Someone to convince him and say, hey, no, they're not. They just want to help you and all this shit. But no, he's a monster. He killed them all and continued and killed the family.
Pretty much all of you sum up my final thought, man. I think the dude was an absolute piece of trash. I think that he bottled everything up, didn't handle it correctly, and this is what you get left with. You get left with somebody that the top pops, boom. Bunch of murders.
The best thing about, this day and age is you don't have to tell anybody you're going to see a shrink.
Correct.
You can keep that shit on the DL and they can't say shit unless
confidentiality.
Like proof that you're going to commit a violent crime. Then they can talk to police. They are allowed to do that. Just keep that in mind.
Well, this was our first holiday episode though, guys. It's our first holiday episode that we're going to release to everybody before that. So I would like to take a second real quick if you listen to the episode and wish you a happy Easter in 2025 , man. I hope you guys have a good Easter. All right. You guys stay safe. Have a good holiday. And we will see you guys again
next time
on the Paramurdercast.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you join us again. Until then, may your nights be restless and your dreams haunted. And beware the things that go bump in the night.